This is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this beautiful Wednesday. I'm Jacqueline Matter.
And I'm Ray Collins. Yesterday I was playing tennis with my beautiful wife, and I looked up in the sky and I thought the most unusual looking cloud pattern, so I took a picture.
Oh, okay. Well, John Scalzi loves those pictures. I know we all do.
So that's the tease, John.
Where's the picture?
I'm going to show you in about 5 minutes, okay?
Okay.
Suspenseful. Hold on.
Send it on. We'll put it in the weathercast.
I want to get your diagnosis of what kind of clouds they are. I call them confetti clouds, but you'll see.
I don't know if, is that a scientific term?
No. Nothing to do with me with
I'm guessing they're altocumes, but we'll take a look.
Oh, okay. We'll see.
Yeah. Were you ready to take the ride?
On the
Ride starts today.
What kind of ride, John?
The ride to summer.
Woo!
Yeah, starts today. We've had dew points. Yesterday was absolutely fabulous day. We had dew points in the 50s, felt fantastic. Tomorrow, well, even today, really, we start to increase those dew points into the 60s. Then tomorrow, we're going to see 70s again for dew points. So the humidity is going to come back full force on that summer train. It's going to be a ride. All right, let's take a look at the satellite view. A little bit of cloud cover around the cloud cover, kind of thick over the state right now. In the center part, over us, North Florida, clear skies. South Florida, clear skies. Little bank of clouds moving over us. That'll mix away. We'll be left with mostly sunny conditions today. No rainfall under any of those clouds. All in all, looking for a warm day today. Topping out near 81. A little warmer than yesterday. A little more humid than yesterday. And by the end of the week, ugh. It's going to be really hot and sticky. We'll talk about that in just a second.
He's in rare form. Time for a ride, John. The morning commute. Ready? All right, let's check the roads now. 301 southbound, heading towards 70. A little busy already for no apparent reason. Maybe a stubborn traffic light there for all we know. Farther south now into Sarasota County. We'll check the map there. In Sarasota County. And there's a little bit of a slowdown there at the 301-41 split. Just south of Fruitville Road, otherwise all quiet. Farther south now to Sarasota County, we'll see nothing to speak of note at 5:02 on this Wednesday morning. Topping our news this hour, Manatee County commissioners are now talking about whether a high school campus, the ground itself, could have caused some serious illnesses.
Several family members and alumni from Bayshore High blaming their cancer and autoimmune diseases on contaminated groundwater and soil on the campus. ABC 7's Dwayne Lindo tells us more.
It's an ongoing issue often compared to the American beryllium chemical plant on Talavast Road, affecting many in Manatee County.
They've been kicking it down the road, and it's not going to go away.
Manatee resident John Rehill has become a cynic throughout the years, trying to shed light on Bayshore High School, and the horror stories he says are staggering.
There's 500 families that have been affected, over 250 that died and got living with cancer. There's 50 people or more with autoimmune diseases, more than that in birth defects.
My husband, William Christian Jr., I firmly believe that he was exposed and possibly that had something to do with him getting his cancer.
Family members spoke out during public comment to represent loved ones diagnosed with some form of cancer, one even suggesting closing down the school completely. One Bayshore graduate who knows a handful of classmates with cancer says there is one common denominator.
There was some signs of a contamination and some exposure. And so we recognized that the identifier was the Bayshore High School.
Health officials also attended, presenting test results from 2007, as well as closure reports on underground storage tanks on the school's property. They say they can't find any link whatsoever to cancer, although they do admit there are a lot of variables and unknowns. Commissioners eventually made a motion to schedule a meeting with the school board and the county health department in 30 days, a motion that Lori Anderson is satisfied with.
I do think that it needs to be a joint effort. I think each division holds each other accountable.
And as for Rehill, he says the time for the county to act is now.
You know, so it's not school board property, it's county property. It's all the people of this county what they have been sworn to protect, and they have not done any of that.
The commission made it a point to say this is not over yet, assuring those affected that they will have some answers. Reporting in Bradenton, Dwayne Lindo, your Suncoast News.
Dwayne, thank you so much. Now, the commission made it a point to say this is not over yet, assuring those affected will have some answers.
An investigation is now underway at a Palmetto Middle School after allegations of a student being touched inappropriately. The Palmetto police chief says they were notified about an alleged incident at the Lincoln Memorial Middle School yesterday. He says detectives are speaking to students to get more information, and we'll have more details on the story as they become available. An employee with the city of Sarasota is also under investigation after more than $30 million in accounting errors were discovered during an audit. The city auditor and clerk, who you just saw, says the errors came from sloppy bookkeeping records made by the city's pension plan administrator, Harry Ramphal. Now, he is on paid leave. This is the fourth city employee on paid leave in the past week. You might recall 3 parking employees are also under investigation after parking director Mark Lyons' son-in-law was awarded a $100,000 art project.
Well, federal charges could be on the way for one Sarasota man for his alleged role in an advanced fee investment scheme. Federal investigators say Gordon Moskowitz and 2 other men stole more than $5 million from their victims. Moskowitz is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud and conspiracy to commit money laundering. Investigators say the men ran an investment scheme for 8 years. They're accused of preying on vulnerable parties, most of whom operated international nonprofits, by promising them large-scale financing in exchange for upfront payments. Heroin use continues to rise around the country, and now that trend has taken over right here on the Suncoast. A recent study shows Manatee County ranking as the highest in the state for overdoses. This after a recent batch of heroin found on the streets of Sarasota proved to be deadly. 4 deaths and 7 overdoses happened in just 7 days last week, and a recovering addict we spoke with says buying heroin on the Suncoast is as easy as buying a loaf of bread.
I know that I can go right across the street. I can see syringes laying everywhere, but I have to think about it. I have to think it through. I have to think, where was I? Where did I just come from?
State lawmakers are working to crack down on that heroin epidemic. A bill has been introduced that would charge dealers with murder if they provide drugs that result in a fatal overdose. Florida is also set to receive $27 million from the federal government to confront that problem.
New details now in a 4-vehicle crash that killed 1 man and injured 2 others in Osprey yesterday. The Florida Highway Patrol says 77-year-old Robert Wisniewski was driving southbound on US 41 near East Bay Street. They say he suddenly made a sharp turn, crossed the road, and began driving into oncoming traffic. He hit 1 car before a head-on collision with a pickup truck. The impact caused the truck's trailer to break away and hit a 4th vehicle. Wisniewski was killed in the accident. The driver of the pickup truck was taken to a hospital with serious injuries, while a passenger in the truck has minor injuries. As wildfires continue to spread in Florida, Manatee County is the latest to declare a local state of emergency. The burn ban includes fireworks, sparklers, campfires, bonfires, yard trash. Outdoor grills cannot be left unattended now. The Florida Forest Service says the ban is needed to reduce the risk of wildfire flare-ups.
Anything that generates heat is going to move very rapidly. You know, this is the windiest I remember it being here this late in the year. And so with the humidity being low, the wind, the dry conditions, is just a recipe for a big fire.
So the burn ban's in effect in Manatee until next Tuesday, but it could be extended if the dry conditions continue. A burn ban is also now in effect in Charlotte County. As for Sarasota County, we've got a recreational burn ban that took effect last week.
Well, the Southwest Florida Water Management District declaring a Phase 1 water shortage in 16 counties due to that recent drought. Sarasota, Manatee, and Charlotte counties are included in that declaration. The order requires local utilities to implement strategies to conserve water. Manatee County has observed a 2-day yard watering limit, while Sarasota County has a 1-day per week limit. Despite the advisory, the district says there is still adequate water supply available to the public.
The Sarasota County Commission is recognizing the hundreds of volunteers who spend thousands of hours each year to help the community. The county is celebrating National Volunteer Week this week. It kicked it off with a breakfast yesterday for local volunteers. Volunteers help 8 county departments serving a variety of roles that help improve everything from emergency services to local parks and beaches. During the breakfast, the volunteers gave the commission a ceremonial check totaling $3.7 million, which represents the value of the 160,000 hours volunteers spend helping the county last year. A symbolic way to illustrate how much they do for our county.
Exactly. I was going to say the same thing. I mean, how important are those volunteers across all different organizations?
Very nice.
Instrumental.
So I'm out there playing tennis yesterday near downtown Sarasota. I look up and I said, oh my gosh, look at those clouds. Let's get a picture of those. So I took a picture of the clouds. Jim, take it away. Oh. 3, 2, 1. We'll be right back with that picture. Yes. That'll be. Anyway, we'll take a look at it. We'll see if we can identify it for you coming up. Let me show you off my phone right now.
Weather in a second. Weather in a second, though. We can tell you that.
Oh, there it is. Hey, found it.
There it is. So what do you think about those, John?
Confetti clouds.
That's what I call them.
That's really hard to see. Does look like altocumulus clouds, I think. Were they bright white or were they kind of grayish in color?
I think they're bright white.
Bright white?
Yeah.
Altocumulus clouds.
Thank you.
Altocumulus clouds about 10,000 feet in the air.
That sounds much better than confetti.
Benign, fair weather clouds make for a beautiful sunset.
I thought they were unusual to look at.
They are unusual. Beautiful, nice to see.
All right, well, still ahead from producing books to doing research for Sesame Street to becoming a fashion icon. One Suncoast woman is making a name for herself across the country.
And later in the hour, a surveillance camera captures the moment a 2-year-old runs into traffic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, you'll say that. Stay with us.
Introducing the all-new Alfa Romeo Giulia, a performance masterpiece. Race-inspired handling and lightning-fast response times take your drive to the next level. Find yours at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
If you want 24/7 access to ABC7's breaking news stories, weather forecasts, traffic alerts, health reports, Suncoast View, and more ABC7 programming, now there's good news. Introducing the free ABC7 channel on Amazon Fire TV, your 24/7 access to ABC7. Just search ABC7 on the streaming device and download the free ABC7 channel app. Or if you don't have an Amazon Fire TV, you can get one at Amazon.com.
When you want to get away from it all, to a place where you can do everything, or nothing at all, surrounded by natural beauty and all the modern amenities you might desire, then you'll want to be here at the Wanna Be Inn on the beautiful shores of Manasota Key, Florida. To plan your escape, log on to wannabeinn.com.
Credit card debt can ruin your life. If you owe $10,000 and minimum payments are siphoning away your paycheck each month, you can get debt-free in less time than you think.
I've paid $800 a month for the past 3 years and haven't changed the balance on my credit card.
Get debt-free now has a program to reduce your debt, stop the harassing phone calls, avoid financial ruin, and settle for less than you owe.
I feel like a huge weight has been lifted off my shoulders.
You're pre-approved for our special hardship program if you owe $10,000 or more. Upon payment of your new lower balance, your debt will finally shrink until you are debt-free.
My family no longer has 30 years of payments ahead of us at 20% interest.
There's no fees until you see results. So call now, make one monthly program payment, and free up your cash. Resolve your debt.
Call 800-628-1251. 800-628-1251.
Giulia from Alfa Romeo. Appearance. Performance. Power. Find yours at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
Looking at some very nice weather outside right now. Dew points are still pretty low, but we had some cloud cover that kind of moved in. That's holding up our temperatures to 72 degrees right now. If we didn't have that cloud cover around, I suspect our temperatures would be closer to the low 60s, which is where they are in other parts of the state right now, where they don't have the cloud cover. So we'll start off a little on the warm side, but those clouds, I think, will start to mix away pretty quickly, and we'll watch that number, the dew point value, start to rise today. We'll get about another 10 degrees onto that figure before we end the day, I think. And then tomorrow, we'll probably add 20 degrees to where we currently are with a dew point in the low 50s. And it will feel a little more humid. 58 degrees, Wauchula, 59, Arcadia, 59, Myakka, 60, Perry, 61 in Bradenton. You have 66 degrees in Venice, 67 degrees in Inglewood, 63 in Northport, and 70 at Longboat Key. Dew point temperatures across the state are still pretty comfortable, I think. 50s just about everywhere you go, except in the southern tip where we have some 60s. Winds today will start to shift a little bit more to the south. With that southerly shift, we'll see some of those 60-degree dew point values lifting north. And consequently, I think by tomorrow at this time, much of the state, at least half of the state, will have dew points in the 60s, making it feel just a little more humid. Again, our red tide status report is great, and I'm going to show this several times this week just to keep you updated. I don't expect to see too much change. The concentrations of red tide in the waters are just about negligible. The thing is, there are going to be a lot of people at the beaches as we head into the weekend and we start to see our temperatures soar. The good news is they're not reporting any respiratory distress whatsoever from any red tide at any area beaches. Titan radar not showing a drop of rain around either, despite the fact that we do have a fair amount of cloud cover across the center part of the state. The rain showers in the mid-Atlantic yesterday have now lifted northward. They're encompassing most of down East Maine. And back to the west, this is where the meteorological eyes will be focused today. In this cluster of showers and thunderstorms moving into areas around the Arklatex and into parts of the heartland today, there could be some serious weather with possible tornadoes, certainly some gusty winds and large hail, severe thunderstorms. We have a little bit of cloud cover around here right now. Again, this cloud cover is going to pass by pretty quickly, mix away pretty quickly, and lead us with a mostly sunny condition. The angrier clouds are located back to the west, where I was saying we could see some stronger storms building today, and no reason to expect that won't happen with this low pressure area gradually drifting into some very moist, humid air lifting up from the Gulf waters. All of the potential is here today for severe weather. For us, that big high pressure ridge provides us with a southerly flow that brings us a warming trend that lasts right smack into the weekend. So for today, still a nice day, temperature about 82, a little warmer, a tad more humid. But by the time we get to Friday and Saturday, we'll be in the upper 80s, low 90s, and the humidity will be back full tilt boogie. Back to you guys.
John, you are full of all of the comebacks today. All right, taking a look at Suncoast traffic. Looks like there's some congestion on 301 in the southbound lane. Also, 70 seeing a little bit of congestion, but I-75, 41 looking clear as we head throughout Manatee County. And in Sarasota County, just a little bit of congestion on Bee Ridge Road in both directions, but Fruitville and Clark Road looking good. As we head into South County, pretty quiet throughout that region. A little bit of congestion on Business 41, as it normally is, as people head out the door on this Wednesday morning.
5:18 right now. Sorry about that. Christy Joyce is a fashion icon who divides her time between Sarasota and San Francisco.
ABC 7's Linda Carson has more on this amazing Suncoast woman.
Kristen Joyce is a book producer. She has produced books you might know like Wine, Food, and the Arts, Pearls, and children's books. She produces many, many books you're very familiar with, but she's so much more than that. Kristen is from Lincoln, Nebraska. She left for college.
I went to Boston and worked hard and was an honor student at Boston University in Communications and went on to Harvard Graduate School of Education.
She modeled in New York.
I did some commercials. I was a see and ski model.
Then she got a dream job.
Because I was doing research for Sesame Street. And I thought I would end up in children's television. I got a chance to write for CBS for Captain Kangaroo.
Then she was recruited to work in the fashion business and promotion.
And I had an opportunity to work with Karl Lagerfeld and Chloe, then Diane von Furstenberg, which to me was the launch pad. And I was then relocated by the Esprit founders, Susie and Doug Tompkins, out to San Francisco.
She became head of their image department, but she wanted a family. So while she was having a baby, she and a collaborator wrote a book.
We spent 3 years creating a comprehensive anthology of pearls. It was called Pearls, Ornament, and Obsession. And it was published by Simon & Schuster. in Thames and Hudson, and then in Japanese.
That earned her her wings as a book packager.
So I had a business in the West Coast in San Francisco producing books, illustrated works.
Then she was recruited back into the fashion business.
J. Jill and Garnet Hill were two of them. They got in touch, and I was commuting to the East Coast, and it was difficult having middle schoolers in school in California and traveling back and forth.
So she and her husband decided to make a home in Sarasota.
Husband Don Guy is a former award-winning director cinematographer, and he's now a film professor. And he commutes between here and University of Tampa and also teaches at State College.
She's involved in the community.
I love doing advocacy campaigns. I always try to balance social impact together with the commercial ventures.
And her life lesson?
My life lesson is around paying attention, being grateful, getting a lot of fresh air and beautiful water in your life.
Kristen Joyce is a citizen of the world. She travels the globe. But when she heads for home, it's San Francisco and right here in Sarasota. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
We have so many interesting people in this community.
We really do. What a long list of accomplishments she has achieved over the past few years.
Yeah, I'd like to meet her someday. She seems interesting.
Definitely. Well, still ahead on Good Morning Suncoast, Uber announces plans for flying cars, when and where you can expect to see them.
And next half hour at 5:30, a new bill that would make it easier to buy hard liquor in grocery stores. Stay with us.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move. So I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
It's the season of savings right now during the spring clearance event at Sunset Dodge, Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota. Over 100 standard and available safety features make the new Chrysler Pacifica a safe investment for any family. And right now, you can own one for just $24,999. Or get one of America's longest-lasting pickups and save up to $11,000 on a new Ram Crew Cab. Better prices, bigger selection. Go to Sunset Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Sarasota.
Welcome back. 5:24 on this Wednesday morning.
All right, well, I admit I absolutely love Chipotle. I know you do as well.
I went every day for about a year. Now I don't go anymore.
Well, now they're warning customers of a data breach, so possibly a good thing that you don't go every day anymore.
Yes, my timing's good. Details in this morning's Tech Bites.
In today's Tech Bites, a data breach at Chipotle.
Executives say someone hacked into the payment processing network for its restaurants.
Chipotle officials believe they've blocked the unauthorized activity, but they're still cautioning customers to check their credit statements.
And they remind you guacamole's extra.
Oh, yes, remember that one. Uber says in just a few years, you're going to be looking up for your ride.
It's promising a network of flying cars starting in Dallas in 3 years. Uber says it has the enthusiastic support of the mayor there, the aircraft industry, and real estate developers. And the world's last male northern white rhino is on Tinder.
His name is Sudan, and he's being called the most eligible bachelor in the world. The Tinder profile is aimed at raising millions for fertility treatments, and those donations are needed in hopes of saving the rhino species.
It's going to be troubling if that does better than I do on Tinder.
Would you swipe right?
Oh, of course. Those are Tech Bites.
Have a great day.
Tech Bites, brought to you by Edward Jones.
The bottom line is, for your goals, this is a strategy I'd recommend.
Huh. This actually makes sense.
Now, on the next page, you'll see a breakdown of costs. What? It's just we were...
We were going to ask about it, but we weren't sure when, so thanks.
Yeah, that's great.
Being clear and upfront, multiplied by 14,000 financial advisors. It's a big deal, and it's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.
When you have allergies, it can seem like triggers pop up everywhere. Luckily, there's powerful 24-hour non-drowsy Claritin. It provides relief of symptoms that can be triggered by over 200 different allergens. Live Claritin Clear.
This is Good Thins, the beat one. The reason you stop scrolling one. The whoops, you looked at your calendar wrong one. Real life snacks baked with real ingredients. It's Good Thins. Good gets real.
I took my first handful of pills, and that's when all my priorities seemed to change.
He would ask to use the bathroom in other people's homes.
He just assumed that they would have medication.
He'd go in their medicine cabinets and steal prescription drugs.
I wish I knew really what these prescription pills were.
We were so naive about the whole drug thing.
These are all synthetic forms of heroin.
Keep your medication locked up because you'll never notice that a pill is gone.
Mind your meds. Learn more from the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids.
Enjoy some of the best Suncoast restaurants on me. Just go to mysuncoast.com/dining, sign up for the newsletter if you haven't already, and you can win a $50 gift card to a restaurant in our area. We'll pick a winner each week, so go on our website and sign up now.
ABC 7 News at 7, weeknights.
This is an important medical announcement. Bard IVC filters have been linked to punctured veins and problems with migration. Anyone who's received a Bard IVC filter must receive medical monitoring and may be entitled to substantial compensation. If you have the Bard Recovery G2 or G2 Express filter, you are in a class of patients who should be compensated for some expenses. Call now for a free assessment of your case and potential money damages. This call is confidential, there's no cost, and you may be eligible. Juries have awarded millions of dollars to people who should have been warned about the risks of the Bard IVC filters. Call the IVC Filter Hotline if you or a loved one has received an IVC filter and experienced a vein puncture or required medical monitoring. You must call now.
Call 800-329-3089. 800-329-3089.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Are you Goodwill?
Yes, because when I donate
or shop at Goodwill,
I'm creating a job.
I am Goodwill, yeah.
Why settle for less? Get more for your money at Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Subaru is rated the #1 car brand in safety, and all Subaru models with EyeSight are a 2017 IIHS Top Safety Pick. And you can lease the most award-winning small SUV, a new Subaru Forester, for just $209 a month. Or get 0% financing with complimentary maintenance included. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Coming up on Good Morning Suncoast, the Trump administration getting ready to unveil the president's much-anticipated outline of his tax reform bill.
The clock is ticking down to Friday's deadline to pass a funding bill to avoid a government shutdown. We'll tell you about the status of that immigration wall's funding.
New developments in the case of a 15-year-old girl who was kidnapped by her teacher in Tennessee. Her mother now facing charges.
Live from the ABC 7 studios, this is Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
And good morning, 5:30 on a Wednesday. Pretty shot of that Ringling Causeway that leads you from Sarasota's Bayfront over to Lido Key.
Hey, there's a few cars on it today.
The early traffic report for you right there. Pretty shot there. I like how the bridge is lit from underneath as well.
Me too, it's beautiful.
Very nice. Welcome back, 5:30. I'm Ray Collins.
And I'm Jacqueline Matter. Certainly going to want to bring a water bottle with you out and about today because it is hot.
Yeah.
Let's check in with meteorologist John Scalzi.
Oh, you ain't seen nothing yet. No. Wait till the end of the week, boy. You're going to want to take a whole jug of water along with you because it's going to be summer-like. Dew points are going to rise back up into the 70s. We'll see temperatures that'll be pretty close to the 90s. Yuck. Right? Anyway,
Yes, right.
It's coming our way. It's heading our way. We'll be looking at it over the course of the next week or so. A little bit of cloud cover across the center part of the state. That cloud cover going to be with us during the morning hours, but mixing away fairly quickly, giving us sunshine for the better part of the afternoon. Not much in the way of any rainfall across the state. We'll be looking at pretty quiet conditions again today, though you will notice it will be a bit more humid and a slight bit warmer as we head into the afternoon. Complete forecast details coming up in just a few.
All right, talk to you soon, John. Still 301, showing some buildup this time, heading southbound towards Sarasota as you reach that long light at State Road 70. Otherwise, all clear right now in Manatee County. Checking Sarasota County, all clear. A little slowdown there on 41 as you get near Fruitville Road at the apex of 301. And then farther south, we'll check into Sarasota County and see nothing much besides a little slowdown just north of Business 41 in southern Sarasota County.
All right, well, we're following some top local stories here on the Suncoast this morning for you.
Including concerns about contamination in the ground around the former Bayshore High School campus. It has led county commissioners to discuss the issue. Some former students claim tainted soil has caused cancer there.
And an investigation underway at a Manatee County middle school. Police are receiving reports of a staff member inappropriately touching a student.
And another high-level worker at Sarasota City Hall has been suspended, this time for a $30 million accounting error. No money was lost. The other worker is suspended for a separate incident involved the parking director who didn't disclose he was pushing his son-in-law for a $100,000 public art project.
Topping our national news this half hour, the Trump administration has a busy schedule today as they get ready to unveil the president's much-anticipated outline of his tax reform plan.
The president will host all 100 senators for a briefing on the situation in North Korea, and then there's the Flynn issue that won't go away. Documents possibly showing the president's former national security advisor may have broken the law. More on this now from our Stephanie Ramos.
Today's the day President Trump releases his hyped-up tax reform plan. His team calling it a first draft with some key parts still in the works as they barrel through to Trump's 100th day in office. The proposal is expected to call for cutting taxes for corporations and companies like his and small businesses from 35% to 15%, a tax break for child care expenses, and cutting individual tax rates. Also happening today, all 100 U.S. senators will be briefed on the situation in North Korea on White House grounds.
The Secretary of State and others are going to talk about our posture and the activities that we're undergoing, and Chairman Dunford will lay out some of the military actions.
This comes just a day after North Korea fires off its largest artillery drill, just as a U.S. guided missile submarine arrived in South Korea, intensifying the standoff over the North's nuclear weapons program.
A North Korean missile with a nuclear payload capable of striking an American city is no longer a distant hypothetical, but an imminent danger.
The Trump administration also dealing with the fallout over former National Security Advisor General Michael Flynn's business dealings with Russia. The top Republican and Democrat on the House Oversight Committee saying Flynn did not make it known he received money from Russia and likely broke the law.
As a former military officer, you simply cannot take money from Russia, Turkey, or anybody else. And it appears as if he did take that money.
We heard from General Flynn during the presidential campaign last year where he talked about breaking the law when it came to Hillary Clinton. But now, if he did indeed break the law, he could face up to 5 years in prison. In Washington, Stephanie Ramos, ABC News.
As the clock ticks down to Friday's deadline to pass a budget bill and avoid a government shutdown, the White House is now sending mixed messages on one of the biggest hurdles. A congressional source says Republicans have privately proposed funding a bill that does not include the president's border wall. The president is not backing down on his plan to build that wall, but White House officials say getting funding for it may have to wait until at least October. The White House press secretary Sean Spicer says the administration will continue to seek funding through the next fiscal year to make sure the wall can be completed.
New developments in the case of a 15-year-old girl who was kidnapped by her teacher in Tennessee. Documents released in court claim Elizabeth Thomas was abused by her mother for months. Kimberly Thomas is scheduled to appear in court next month to face 5 charges of abuse and neglect. However, she is pleading not guilty. The girl's father is now filing for divorce from her mother. Elizabeth's teacher Tad Cummins is facing a federal charge of bringing a minor across state lines for sex. He also faces state charges for aggravated kidnapping and sexual contact with a minor. Cummins was found with the teen in California last week after they went missing in Tennessee last month. Meanwhile, here in Florida, a high school student was attacked and nearly kidnapped while walking to her bus stop early Tuesday morning. Police say a man who the 16-year-old described as in his 20s drove past her twice. The second time, he parked, got out, and hit the girl. He then tried to drag her from the ground toward his car, but a bystander saw the girl loudly resisting it with kicks and screams and intervened to stop that attack.
A nearby resident who happened to be backing out of the parking spot early in the morning heard it, drove over and said, "What's going on here?" That was enough to frighten away the attacker and to probably save her from any sort of harm.
That girl did receive bruises and is a bit shaken up, but she is okay. Police are working on a composite sketch of the suspect from the girl. Anyone with information about that attack is asked to contact Orlando Police.
Okay, before we show you this video, we want to warn you, the little girl is okay. All right, here we go. Surveillance video cameras capture the moment a child ran into a busy street in China. She was crossing the road. In the video, you see the toddler in a pink coat. There she is. 2 cars actually run over her. After the cars pass, the toddler does reappear face down on the ground. Her grandmother rushed over and took her back into her arms. The toddler is recovering now from minor bruises on her head. The grandmother says she was distracted and did not notice her little granddaughter ran out into the street. Glad there were SUVs high enough to clear her little body. Back in this country, a daycare teacher used packing tape to bound the arms and mouth of a 2-year-old. As reporter Ken Lemon tells us, it happened at a 5-star facility.
You're not going to get away with torturing a child.
This mother doesn't want her face shown. She told me her 2-year-old doesn't understand what happened to her at the Children of America Educational and Child Care Centers in the university area. She said her child's teacher, who had only been there 2 months, got upset.
She said my daughter wouldn't be still and listen to what she was saying.
She said the teacher wrapped packing tape around the child's wrist and over her mouth.
This is a daycare, like this is unheard of.
The mother said the next day administrators told her what happened and fired the teacher. She waited 3 weeks for the daycare to report the incident to police. When it didn't happen, she called police.
It won't happen again.
We checked the Division of Child Development records on the 5-star facility and learned 3 years ago, a 2-year-old child here was left unsupervised for more than half an hour. In 2015, criminal records weren't complete for all staff members. And that same year, a 2-year-old was picked up by the arms and dropped on the floor. Her child still attends the school.
I'm trusting you with her, with everything in me.
The executive director for the school told me by phone what happened is upsetting. He said teachers go through training and they are told they can take a break anytime stress gets too high. Administrators will reinforce procedures for teachers.
And the child's mother is pushing for criminal charges.
A new bill that would make it easier to purchase liquor in Florida is moving through the legislature. The House is set to vote today on the measure that would allow hard liquor to be sold in grocery stores. Current law requires liquor to be sold in a separate store, which supporters of the bill say is doing more harm than it is good.
In states that have what is currently in place in the state of Florida, there are higher numbers of incidents of DUIs, of liquor violations, and alcohol-related arrests.
Those against the bill say the change will hurt small liquor stores and make it easier for minors to gain access to alcohol. The legislation has already been approved by the Senate. Star Wars fans are getting a break in the time lag between their films. Disney announced that Episode 9 in the series will be released on Memorial Day in 2019. All of the Star Wars films that Disney has produced so far have released closer to the end of the year. Episode 8, The Last Jedi, hits theaters this December. After that, fans only have to wait 6 months for a Han Solo or film to be released next May. The film studio also said 2019 will see the release of Frozen 2 in November and a live-action reboot of The Lion King in July. The 5th Indiana Jones movie was also pushed back to 2020.
One of NASCAR's most popular drivers is hanging up his helmet. Dale Earnhardt Jr. announced he'll retire at the end of the season. The two-time Daytona champ began his career in the NASCAR Busch Series back in 1996. He's also won NASCAR's most popular driver 14 consecutive years. Earnhardt says all he wanted to do in his life was race.
I've accomplished way more than I ever dreamed. Way more than I ever thought I'd accomplish. So I'm good. You know, I'm good on that front. I'm so blessed.
He certainly is. He also intends to stay involved in NASCAR and will be part of the sport, he says, for years to come. And you actually met him, didn't you?
I did. I did a story with him a few years ago when I was living in North Carolina. He came to the area. Very nice guy. Very sweet guy.
Well, I recall the day his father was killed 16 years ago on the final lap of the Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt Sr. Very tragic accident there.
That was a tragic accident.
So, on a lighter note,
NASCAR's having some problems.
You think?
Yeah, definitely. Their viewership is down, the sponsorships are down, and this retirement notice is
He's got a big
blow.
fan following.
He does. He does. NASCAR's sweating, I'm sure, right now.
Yeah.
So we have some pretty decent weather around here again today, but over the next several days, certainly some big changes coming our way. We'll talk about that in a few.
All right, well, still ahead, you probably don't put a lot of thought when you hit the brakes in your car. Why researchers say it's a good idea to roll up your windows. Coming up next in your Health Smart.
Introducing the all-new Alfa Romeo Giulia, a performance masterpiece. Race-inspired handling and lightning-fast response times take your drive to the next level. Find yours at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
For years, I told everyone my Craftmatic adjustable bed was the greatest until I got the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has an adjustable pillow feature that's awesome. You're gonna want one too when you see how little they cost.
If you've ever had a bad night's sleep, call and price the new Craftmatic Legacy. It has so much more than other adjustables and still costs up to 50% less, featuring a rising adjustable pillow rest, bedside power plugs, underbed night lights, and more. Available in all mattress types with optional heat and soothing massage for as much as half the price of Tempur-Pedic, Sleep Number, and other adjustables. Enjoy temporary relief of low back pain, nighttime heartburn, mild arthritis. Adjust the rising pillow feature to help align your head, neck, and shoulders. See for yourself with our 30-day in-home trial. So call and price one today for less, up to 50% less.
You get so much more and it still costs less. You gotta see how little they cost.
Call 1-800-237-0214. That's 1-800-237-0214. Call 1-800-237-0214. Call now.
What Florida city is best known for spaceflight?
Cape Carnival.
Cape Carnival? Close enough. What condiment includes vinegar, molasses, and anchovies?
Westchester sauce?
Close enough. And now, a word from our sponsors.
One-off from the Florida Lottery. Now available for pick 2, 3, 4, and 5 games. Miss by one on any or all numbers and still win.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help. With Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sunny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Minnesota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Minnesota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Minnesota Flooring today. Julia from Alfa Romeo. Appearance. Performance. Power. Find yours at Alfa Romeo of Sarasota.
Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
So if you look at the temperatures across the state, it's kind of interesting, actually. You don't have to go too far north to get temperatures in the 50s. And if you look at our area, you know, we're in the 70s right here. And the